I try very hard to be politically correct here, but this is probably the stupidest video that I've ever seen in my life.
Truth be known, veganism is an absolute bloodbath and torture train. The annual number of animals slaughtered and maimed in the name of grains, nuts, seeds, roots, tubers, fruits, and vegetables is absurdly gargantuan.
You literally need a brain consisting of 100 neurons or less and/or a complete allergy to data or studies to fabricate such bollocks. The only way to top this stupidity is by writing such a comment. Baker could live on just 4 deaths a year if he used grass-fed animals. A single vegan, hundreds of insect deaths, multiple mice and rat deaths, bird deaths, deer deaths, on top of which you have the predator deaths of foxes, owls and hogs from eating poison rodents, not to mention this poison runoff killing the life aquatic. The list just goes on and on, not to mention the days of suffering each of these animals. Sean is more vegan than a vegan. I really hope this is about commenting on my YouTube channel, because if not, the world is literally going to shit. I give you the benefit of the doubt, Mr. Chiwanapo, and blame your behavior on the extreme confirmation bias. This video's goal is to end the complete discussion about the extreme kill count of veganism by explaining you the data and comparing it with the biggest, meanest, unrelenting killing machine there is, the animal industry. This whole argument about the kill count of veganism can basically be debunked with one question only. What do the animals eat that you are eating? And because the carnivore crowd is especially fond of beef, let's give you a crash course on cattle. Cattle, pigs and chickens all produce meat, but in doing so they are very different animals. Cattle are ruminants. Their digestive system includes a section called the rumen. In the rumen you can find a variety of bacteria and other microbes that can break down cellulose, which is the largest proportion of plant matter. Which means ruminants, e.g. cattle, are able to eat grass. Chicken and pigs can't. But the problem is that especially cattle turns out to be extremely inefficient at feed conversion. It takes 2 kilograms of grain to produce 1 kilo of chicken, 4 kilos for 1 kilogram of pork, and 7 kilos for 1 kilogram of beef. And don't forget about water conversion. The production of 1 kilogram of beef requires 15,414 liters of water on average. The production of 1 kilogram of vegetables, on the contrary, requires 322 liters of water. Therefore, livestock is the world's largest user of land resources, with pasture and arable land dedicated to the production of feed, representing almost 80% of the total agricultural land. 1/3 of global arable land is used to grow feed, while 26% of the Earth's ice-free terrestrial surface is used for grazing. To top this off, let's not forget that greenhouse gas emissions associated with livestock supply chains add up to 7.1 gigatons of carbon dioxide equivalent per year. Cattle, beef, milk are responsible for about 2/3 of that total, largely due to methane emissions. But why does cattle produce methane? Remember that they have bacteria that can digest cellulose. Those bad boys also produce methane, and they're not only producing methane in the cattle itself, no, but also in the gigantic amount of shit that leaves their body, leading to water pollution and global warming. Remember that the USA alone produces 113,000 pounds of shit per second, and this happens 24/7. But this can't be that bad, or can it? In fact, the combined emissions of the top 20 meat and dairy companies even surpass the emissions of entire nations. To give this statement of Sean is more vegan than a vegan the final blow, realize this. Nearly 60% of the world's agricultural land is used for beef production, yet beef accounts for less than 2% of the calories that are consumed throughout the world. Beef needs 30 million square kilometers of land to produce 2% of the global calories. Beef production is so inefficient that even if we find a way to use the entire surface of the planet to produce it, we would still only reach 36% of the global caloric intake. Everyone subsisting on grass-fed beef is such a carnivore fantasy that even if we will colonize Mars and use the entire surface area for beef production, we would still barely reach 40% of the global caloric intake. Needless to say, beef production in general seems to be the biggest, meanest, unrelenting killing machine there is, with 1.4 billion live cattle today and an average slaughtering age of 18 months. It's safe to say that a couple hundred millions of animals die of slaughtering alone each year. And this is for 2% of the total caloric intake. And we haven't calculated the cattle that die of sickness or the animals that die due to idiotic beef production itself, which creates water pollution, deforestation and global warming. If veganism is an absolute bloodbath and torture train Mr. Garland farms, then I want to know how you would name an industry which produces at least 4 times as many deaths due to the land that they're using alone.